Yes, my brother.
Oh,
right. My well-informed brother. my brother who comes to bring the knowledge and teach and share from his research. See, again, I appreciate you so much because you're not just a YouTube talking head. You're not just somebody who gets on for attention. See, the little that we see you, it's like the tip of the iceberg, right? We see you briefly on Monday because it goes so fast.
But
the tip of the iceberg goes down wide under the water where you don't see all the hours that you're studying and researching and writing information, not emotionally driven battle and emotionalism. You see what I mean? When in essence, it's like bait and switch, because you have some who speak a certain way, but they're after the enemy's woman, or they go back and forth to Babylon because they want that bag, but they say they don't want it. And it's amazing how cyberspace is infested with narcissistic attention-seeking entities of people who don't want to put in the work. The worst thing was to give these people a phone so they can sit up and just spread their psychopaths.
Yeah, you're right. It's gotten worse.
Especially when you know the trajectory of these confused individuals, right? There's so many of them out here. This is why I appreciate you so much, because although in the last few years we've connected and it's getting to be more and more, you couldn't be who you couldn't have been anything else years before we really communicated directly. You had to be. The momentum, the trajectory that you have is nothing that can just, look, you can't take an 8-wheeler that you leave at the light. You a little Toyota, and you way out in the country somewhere, long highway, and there's one light there, and now you're on the highway. You leave the 18-wheeler back shifting gears. But then a couple of miles down the road, all of a sudden, you see some headlights moving down in the rear view mirror, and it's getting brighter and brighter. And you're like, what is this? And all of a sudden, boom, not only does it pass you, it shakes your vehicle from side to side. That's what I prefer to be in your footsteps that way. That person who has a long history of it and can prove it, because so many can't prove a damn thing. Like you said earlier, you appreciated seeing Lily Fire on. See, I can show you my wife. I can show you my life. I can show you my trajectory. We need to start asking the frauds that are online, not like yourself, where I'm going to say, oh, I want to know your business, because you're not a fraud, because you're proving the work, and I know you're not one. We need to start questioning these frauds, right? Frauds. Where were you 20 years ago? Where were you 30 years ago? Who are you laying up with? Huh? Show me. What kind of philosophy did you have before you turned it around? Because you see now, you that you're not. Especially when you, let me shut up.
The smartphone revolution.
Say it again.
The smartphone revolution.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Because I know,
so crazy.
I know years ago what I was about, how I was talking, and even the funny thing about it is, some of these present day frauds, narcissistic, manufactured costume wearing frauds, 15 years ago may have been telling me, oh, I don't agree with you. Not that you have to, but I believe Barack Obama is the savior that's going to bring us all together. Laying up with these others. You know what I mean? Feeling you get disappointed that the system and the people who are running the system don't really love you, and you get your NIVG wake-up call. Now you want to turn revolutionary. But if you didn't get the wake up call, you'd be right up in there with them because you thought you was with them. And you thought they loved you.
Oh, no doubt. And once they have bowed down to these entities, then it's almost like they have to keep doing something to keep them stimulated. Like the one thing I noticed is that they have to do outlandish stuff to satisfy these entities. It's like they're trying to outdo each other. You know what I'm saying, Lance? It's almost like
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's like who can do the most, get the most attention to satisfy these people sitting there salivating, these vampires, about what are you going to do? What have you done for me lately? And it's gotten to a point where you could see our people competing literally against each other for this attention and these accolades that come from. I'll give an example. I caught, they were saying something about when I think Babyface was on the red carpet, and then some of these new, these new people they be bringing on or whatever, this different subculture. And Babyface, one of the greatest producers in music history, right? That's how they do our people. That's why they want to destroy our history. It's like, who is that? No, you don't serve a purpose now. You know what I mean? This is how, whereas if what's the gay guy, Elton John, had been in the same situation, I don't care who walked up, they would have never done that. But a lot of that comes from them being able to destroy. A lot of our young people probably didn't even know who Babyface was. and it was because of Babyface, a lot of those guys got a chance to really see how to run a business and establish a label and do it without compromising your soul.
That's the key.
That's the key. But they eventually cut him. They used his wife, a beautiful sister, man. They made a song together. I can't think of her name right now. Love Make Things Happen. That was one of her big hits.
Right. I remember, Yeah.
And so right after that, what they always do is they started elevating Pebbles. I think that was her name. Pebbles, yeah,
Mercedes boy. Do you want to ride in my Mercedes boy?
So they elevated her. They started elevating her and they made her an offer to get her away from Babyface because I think they got married and everything. But this is all consistent with what we're going to discuss today, brother, because at the end of the day, we have to look this beast squarely in the face. Okay. And I know it's very discouraging to our people when deception is like betrayal is probably the harshest thing other than deception. Just straight betrayal. But now, I will say that our people got the message this time around that when you're dealing with a system, they're just putting people in places, like you were talking about Barack Obama earlier. Well, depending on your position in the feudalism system, then, they're interchangeable. Just like a sports, like it's no fluke that the same organizations keep winning championships in sports. When you look at take basketball, you look at the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics, and teams of the Warriors, and you just bring in different pieces into the system. Same thing with football. There is no coincidence that you have teams like the Cowboys organization, the 49ers, the Giants. You know, that's no, because all you're doing is replacing pieces. So that's what they have effectively done. And at the level that they're playing at now, it really, our people's eyes are wide open, because now you can't deny it. You have to look it dead in the face. Okay, this is the energy we're facing. The other mistake we make is there is no one person. This savior thing has really messed our people up. Okay, there is no one perfect. So when you choose for different reasons. And our people have this savior mentality where they feel like, oh, this one person has to be, you know, the do all and the end all. No, they may be there for a specific purpose, some good, some bad.
Right.
You just got to weigh the good. You got to take,
That's
like the body do. You take in what the nutrients you need, and then you eliminate the rest.
Right.
Yeah, and because we have not mastered that, that has hindered us in a lot of ways. So at the end of the day, this is why it's important that we are able to critique certain people that are in authority, regardless to who it is. They're just men or women. They're not gods, quote unquote. Right. So at the end of the day, you're subject to the same laws we all are, no matter how much you manipulate it.
That's right.
But yeah, brother, you see, you got me all stimulated. I always look forward to Mondays because you know,
here, brother.
Yeah, man, it's like right around Wednesday or so, then the energy for our show comes up. I start becoming aware of different subjects. And I just want to extend.
I was fired up all day. From when I woke up. I got some stuff done here.
Right.
Articles that I wrote. I got.
Okay. I saw a couple of articles.
Yeah, I got 2 more tonight coming. So that's why everybody got to subscribe. I got 2 more tonight coming and a show. So yeah. I feel good. And this is my purpose that I'm in.
Well, you putting in the work, brother. You're putting in the work. Yeah, man.
But it's a purpose thing.
Yeah.
No matter what yay says or nay says.
Yeah.
I'm a creative assassin.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
when all this is gone, yeah, exactly. I got it right on the scope, and I don't care. I'm going to get it done. I can fall off the tree that I'm up in. I'm going to climb back up there again. I'm going to get that target. So that's me. That's where I've always been. That's how my parents wired me.
Yeah.
Right. So just like you were saying, a point that was great that you said, how we have the savior's complex.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always looking for that one person. Well, see, we have many frauds who know this and will prop themselves up as being that one person.
Yeah.
Not understanding us as a people that we need to see all of these individuals who may be real. See, you're a real one, brother. And you're in a toolbox. And you're one tool in the toolbox that suits a purpose.
Right. Right.
Other tools in the toolbox that suit the purpose, but the frauds don't want you to know that. When you step on, I'm supposed to support you. Like I said, promotion wise, don't worry about that. I got you. I study this all day. And yes, many may have a problem with that, but I worked my life through the hells of North America and I'm retired. There's a word called retired. And instead of going to the bar or going to the whorehouse or to the drug house, it's my job to convey a feeling. I am not a teacher, but I utilize the platform. So if there's 10 good people that come on or 15, I'm not concerned about, the fraud over there has more numbers than me. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about me throwing 1,000 punches. All I need to land is that one.
I want to respond. You are a teacher. You're not a traditional. Well, actually, you're higher than a teacher. You're a teacher's teacher. And what that means is when you have the ability to serve humanity, that is the highest honor that any individual can aspire to. That's why we've been taught in reverse, that the one that's up here, that's seen and given all these accolades, that is no. The most effective people that have ever walked this planet, we've never heard of them. Because they were the ones that actually, and I learned this from Dr. Kojo, that the people who actually are the righteous influencers, they cannot, because once the Luciferians become aware of their influence, then they're going to put together some type of systemic plan to block them. So that's why in the earlier days, our shaman,
as that person who that me,
our shamans, they always taught in secret. That's why they called it a secret society. Even here on Turtle Island, I was reading some of the literature from early Mesoamerica, and a lot of the symbols and concepts you can trace all the way back to the beginning of our people. And see, this is the main reason. So as we get into the show, Lance, I just want to again greet everybody in the chat room and under the sound of my voice. Thank Brother Lance again for this tremendous opportunity, because the one thing we have to understand and comprehend now is the gloves are off. Okay, they're not, nobody's trying to hide anything. Well, they never tried to hide it. But I mean, they're coming with the New World Order right in your face, full blown, and it's real.
But 15 seconds, I want to say, to finish up that toolbox analogy.
Oh yeah.
Nobody can take the place of the tool that you are. You're made for a special purpose. It's just that the frauds get angry of the talents and abilities and the passion that they don't have. See? Your passion for research and teaching, and me with the little things that I do, that's not going anywhere. I'm going to have to be out of my body, and it's still going to be somewhere. So nobody can replace. Look, the screwdriver can't replace the hammer.
That's right.
The hammer can't replace the electric meter to see if there's any current. So stop trying to stop the flow of the other tools that are in the box. Do you and do your mission, and you'll be all right. But
that is why we're still stuck in the condition we're in, what you just explained.
That's right.
We don't, for the most part, the 90-something% of our people, I would say 92% of our people don't comprehend that concept you just gave.
Right.
Yeah.
Play a position. But do your thing. I'm all ears, man. Broderick and Brandon, welcome on in. Thank you for being here. And it's all love.
And the more that we're able to actually put that concept into motion, we'll be able to see the wheels turning. This is too at the root of why we attack each other. Now, if I'm a screwdriver, why in the hell would I be mad at a hammer? What sense does this make? Okay, if I'm a bird, why would I be
the hammer's going to help you?
Huh? What you say?
No, I said the hammer's there to help you if you're the screwdriver. That's the mentality it should have.
You should be worried about how many nails can we find. But you weren't
right.
You weren't about how hard the hammer can hit and how much attention the hammer's getting because it's the hammer. When your ass, you need to be worried about how many screws you can unscrew.
That's right.
So this is right. Oh man, that is a perfect analogy, because this is also moving into our topic. And don't go nowhere, Lance, because your wisdom is needed with this one as well.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab something over there when you start. Okay. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna put your center stage. I'm just gonna grab something that when I'm hiding, I'm heavy center stage. I'm gonna be eating real quiet because I eat all day.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, go ahead, brother.
So today the topic we're going to discuss is why the Luciferians want to eliminate Black history. So I'm going to read that again.
Yes.
Why the Luciferians want to eliminate Black history. And, you know, I believe that our people just spiritually understand and comprehend what I mean when I say Luciferians. Okay. There's no need in having to go into any real depth about this, even though I'm going to continue to use the advice that I've been given. I'm also going to give a script, because if I don't, our people is going to automatically disengage, okay, subconsciously. And that's okay. It is what it is. But, you know, when I deal with biblical texts, I like the prophets more, or the people, the names that they call. But I like, because they're drawing off of celestial concepts. So however you want to, you know, categorize what I'm getting ready to talk about, the script I'm going to read, that's fine. I just need you to be engaged, because this is a very important topic. And we can see now, as me and Lance was talking, that this is full on now, full court press. There is no hiding anymore what the real agenda is. So, as always, and in the tradition of our ancestors, we're going to hold our ground. And before I read the script, we're going to look at 3 areas today that actually will define why the Luciferians want to eliminate Black history. The first one is that Black excellence destroys the lies that are told about Black people to other people. Okay, I'm going to say that again. That one of the reasons that the Luciferians want to eliminate Black history is because, like we always say, you can't block the sun. Okay, you can't block a quasar. Okay, that's impossible. So when we look at celestial language, then we don't have to comprehend your narratives, because we already are able to read the language of the creative spirit. But one of the main primary reasons is that Black excellence destroys the lies told about Black people to other people, particularly ones that come here to this country. The other thing is, and now we have, and we're going to talk about this, there's a new form of education, all right, that is also led by the Neuralink concept. That is one of the other reasons why our government is being hijacked, is because the AI and this whole thing with facial recognition we're going to talk about is kind of fascinating. And it's not hard to really conceptualize this, because you know that the same energy of hate is being programmed by the very people that are anti-Black. We know this already. So it stands to reason that the software that's being developed now will also reflect this energy. And the last reason why they definitely do not, and I always like to say, I used to hear the slave narratives, and say they got a lot of explaining to do. Yeah, you do. Because how are you going to explain all of the horrific evil acts perpetuated against our people? This will be exposed and seen, like everything else is going to be exposed. The breeding farms, the physical, the buck breaking, all of these things, which is a part of American history, the true part of American history, is the reason why these Luciferians are hell-bent, because they still want you to buy into this concept that they're good Christians, okay, and that they have your best interests at heart, and that you're serving the same creator that they are, which is a lie. And Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles can see that. So I'm going to use the script today because I want our people to stay engaged in this. This is very important. And it comes from Ezekiel, the 28th chapter, the 16th, 17th, and 18th verses. Now, this is in reference to this mythical being that you have been taught about. Okay. And we'll just go with that. Okay. Because the concept of it is very important to how we view life and how we view the manifestations of things in our lives, whether it's good or evil or positive or negative. So through your widespread trade, and then think about what nation this applies to the most while you're at it. Because even when we read these scripts, we're reading them from the wrong perspective. So when you know who you are, then you'll know that this applies to you in terms of who the Luciferians are that are against you, the primordial seed. That's how you have to start thinking. You have to get away from the way that you have been taught incorrectly or miseducated. But through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence, and you sinned. So I'm gonna say that again. So you see, you open your pineal gland. You will definitely and get away from the way that you've been taught with these scripts. Okay, just listen to what it's saying, and then you comprehend it based on that. Through your widespread trade, you have all these trade partners all over the world that you give all these billions of dollars or trillions of dollars that belong to Black folks. But you were filled with violence, number one. We know that through the historical record. And you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you from among the fiery stones. Now, again, this is why I say to our people that we have to now look at the way we interpret and comprehend these scripts from a different perspective. So when I read this, the mount of God, okay, and the fiery stones, it's the laws of Ma'at. Truth, justice, balance. Okay, that's where the 10 Commandments came out of, the 42 native confessions of Ma'at. The whole world was built on this concept when it was only our people here, the primordial seed, on each continent that we existed. The Sunum Bunum, the greater good. And that we walked on the mount of God, okay, amongst the fiery stones. Okay. So you really have to comprehend something, okay, is that you have been mistaught, okay, or all of us have been mistaught, but now you must have the courage to go back and look at truth, because that's the only, like you say, the truth will set you free, okay, but you chose. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty, okay? And you have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness, okay? And this brightness, your eyes were open when they first encountered what they call the mystery system, or they started learning from the Memphite priests. This is where their eyes were open. Primarily, it was clothes initially. Okay. So, but here's what the karma or justice or retribution attached to this is, however you want to look at it. I will cast you to the ground. I will lay you before kings, before black men, the kings of the earth, that they may behold you. And you have defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, or iniquities, evil doing, or wickedness, however you want to interpret it. But you have defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of your trafficking. What do they do now? The traffic in guns, the traffic in drugs, they traffic in our young, well, girls and boys now. They traffic in people. Okay, it's right here. You are the one that's fulfilling. This is why we know when we talk about this Luciferian energy, we know who we're talking about. Okay, but you have taught, this is why you have taught our people this savior thing, where our people are not looking at actually what is right in front of them. Okay, but you have defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of your trafficking. Therefore will I bring forth a fire, okay, in the midst of you. Okay, so we know that fire has, several major significances when you speak of fire. And I've said this on some videos before when I was studying the slave narratives. I when I used to hear them say the living fire, I didn't know that, later on in the churches, they would actually teach our people that this was the Holy Spirit. But when you go back and you look at, because I used to say, why do they keep saying that? The living fire. But see, again, when you start deep diving into celestial language, our people will talk, because a lot of them couldn't read or write. They were forbidden on pain of death to read or write the English language back during that time. So they referred to this. And later on, I looked at the transgression, how this, what they used to call the living fire, became the Holy Spirit, at least amongst our people. I was like, that's how they do it. But these are the types of linguistic tricks that have always been used against our people, where we're thinking it means one thing, when to the ones that created this concept, it means something totally different. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about why we can no longer move forward. And Dr. Amos Wilson was right about this with the developmental growth of our children cannot be based on the developmental growth and development of white children. And we're going to talk about that because this is something we have to confront, because they're not used. And I remember this black kid was talking about what happened. He grew up with this young white guy, and man, they were best of friends until they got about 13 years old. And all of a sudden, her mother, his mother, started saying, well, you can't play with him no more. And so the young black kid, he they went on, I guess they went to separate high schools. The black kid became a basketball star and went on and did things. in his life. And after he graduated, I think he became a pharmacist or something. And so years later, the mom came into the pharmacy where he was working, and they were like shocked. She was shocked to see him, and she just started crying. The white mother, right? And he was like, "Well, how's Jeremy doing? I haven't seen him in, I guess decades at this point." And she said, "Not well." She said, "I want to apologize to you because so what happened to Jeremy, he got involved with the wrong people in high school. He turned out to be a serious drug addict that was in and out of the hospital all the time. And she was there to pick up medication for him that day. And she said, if I had allowed your friendship to continue with my son, he may have become the man that you have." And the point with that is that we can't be concerned about following the road of other people when you're rejected based on their inferiority, which they use that to try to make it seem like they have some type of superiority. In fact, when we know this is a part of their inferiority. So that being that I just read about, okay, that's the energy. I don't care what they tell you here in America or wherever. And now they're trying to bring, and I said this on the video I did, I guess a couple weeks ago, that this was not good. This relationship between the president of the United States and an individual that grew up in under an apartheid system, that eventually this was going to have some kind of effect on American people. And now we see that our president wants to bring people from South Africa here. That would be one of the worst mistakes that any leader of America could ever make. That I think that's one of the most, that would be a terrible mistake. And this country already have all of the racial tension that exists between the cultures here. That would just take it to a different level. But again, in some kind of way, the entities that they bow down to get some kind of satisfaction, okay, from these hate-filled movements or manifestations. They have to, because on the one hand, you're telling our people that are in churches every Sunday and Wednesday, wherever else, some of them go on Friday too, I think, about this one meek, blonde-haired, blue-eyed God that our people love so much, but your manifestation is anti-Black. Now, we're not going to ignore this any longer. This has our people in some type of sorcery that we have to break. Okay. Now, I mentioned when we first started that we're going to cover 3 areas with this, why they want to destroy Black history, why they really want to destroy it. The first one is Black excellence. And the reason why they want to hide Black excellence from the history books, because it destroys the lies that are told about Black people. Even after starting out with nothing, walking off the plantations with nothing, after 250 years of free labor that built the wealth in this country. I don't care what they say or how they're trying to, other people built the country and helped build it. No, we're not going to do that one, brother. We have the congressional records and we have the Smithsonian. So we're not going to do that one. But what we are going to do is we're going to look at something very important. okay, that has to do with Black excellence and why there's such a big, why they're so sensitive now that you can't even have anything about this. So now you see the power of this Luciferian energy, or this Nazi energy, okay, because everything you look at now, you have this anti-Black, we can't even express. So although we have the UN right of Article 19, which we discussed in a video, and our First Amendment right, you're going to put this energy out that we can't even express how we feel about being suppressed, oppressed, and then trying to recolonize our people through this imperialistic spirit. No. So what is it about Black excellence they want to hide? And this is the number one thing, or it's right up there with the number one thing, okay? That Black Americans changed the world as we know it. Black Americans changed the world. They certainly changed America first, and then as a result, the world. And one of the biggest kept secrets in the world is that the foundational wealth established by our great Black ancestors, and we're talking about trillions of dollars from over 150 years of commerce generated by the corporate industries created from these inventions. In fact, today, these industries are thriving and still generating billions of dollars a year. Okay, so let me stop there. This is one of the primary reasons, if not the primary reason, why they don't want Black history taught. Because this cannot be denied. This is in their greatest institutions. This is in the Smithsonian, and it's in the Library, or the Congressional Records, the Library of Congress. It's in, I've seen it at Harvard University, Georgetown. It's in their most prestigious and oldest universities. So now we're talking about you basically saying that we can't look at, this is crazy when you think about it, that we cannot educate people on real American history, but a lie, because you don't want Black people to, or other people to recognize Black excellence. Think about that for a minute, how crazy that is. All right, so the other thing too is these industries are still thriving, like I said, and still generating billions of dollars a year. Yet there are no corporations in the US that bear the names of the Black founders. What's worse is that the descendants of these great benefited from the tremendous global wealth that their inventions created. And while we are focused on fighting for reparations, which we should be, they have effectively hoodwinked Black people economically. And while they parade Black people before the world as lazy, shiftless criminals, they know that without your divine genius and creativity, America would not have become the powerful nation it became. And this hidden history is so profound that it defies the imagination. Okay. Again, this is the primary reason why they don't want, because now how are you going to explain a people that you, first of all, treated with the most inhumane treatment in the history of the world? Some of the things are so bad about slavery and those plantations I would agree some of the things that the children don't need to know. That's how bad they were. But and you have never repented for this. See, this is why this fire in your midst, like Ezekiel was talking about, is here. The Neteru, they're here. And the reason why is because you have perpetrated this on the primordial seed of the planet. You have done this. So using one of your scripts, how can you say you love a God when you can't love the creatures that this God created, or this creator created, that you see every day? That's a misnomer. So all you have to do is start looking at a lot of the lies that you have been told to expose this Luciferian spirit that have our people in a vice grip. Okay, let's look at a few more things. People from all around the world continue to benefit not only financially from these industries, but their quality of life has improved tremendously as a result. The other thing too is when you look at all of the thousands of subsidiaries that are owned by white people and other people of color, that benefited from our ancestors as well. You look at the shameful history, because 100% of it is owned by, people from other cultures, but no black people have benefited from. This is one of the, when you're talking about sin. Okay, let's use the terminology you use. This in itself is one of the grossest sins, using your terminology so our people can comprehend, that this goes against everything that you have taught our people. How could this be? The unequal distribution of wealth still goes on today. Simply because you have stolen or taken all by force all of the resources, and you refuse. Okay, and the only reason you use it is for you to gain more fiat, which has no intrinsic value other than what you say it is and what you trick our people about. So now we see the real purpose of this Luciferian energy. We see the real purpose of it. And it's fueled by hate. It's fueled by hate, lies, and deceptions, mainly perpetrated against the primordial seed. But moving into the future, the projected economic windfall, trillions of dollars from every single one of these industries, is staggering. While millions of whites, Asians, East Indians, Arabs, and even Hispanics continue to prosper from the industries created from these great black inventors, the descendants of these black inventors and black people in America are driven to the bottom of the feudalistic society. The question today is, how are we teaching our children about this important fact? That is the question. And now you can see more and more one of the reasons why they want to eliminate Black history. Because when they tell the story, America was built by good Christians who ran away so they can practice this religion. Oh, by the way, which included owning slaves, owning human beings as cattle or chattel slavery, and then the inhumane treatment of our people is just, I don't know how our people can continue to do this. I honestly, I get it. We all need something to hold on to. But now, this has gotten to a point where these Luciferians are coming right in your face. They don't care. Oh, Bible, scripture, you're reading? Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to burn your church down again. There are over 200 black cities underwater in America. Okay. There are, not only that, there are towns that are burned. There are over 40 recorded cities or towns that our people built from scratch. This is another reason why they don't want history, real black history taught. But there's going to come a reckoning day for this, because see, truth is energy. You can't just, it doesn't just go poof and disappear. Okay, and what you don't realize is the more you try to bury it, the stronger it gets. You know, it's almost like you have a ship that has holes. You're trying to plug up all the holes, but the pressure from each one of those holes you plugging up is causing other holes to emerge. So, and finally, this is the main reason. Okay, this is the main reason why you are rewarded for your degenerate behavior instead of your intellect, for your freak offs. You're rewarded more for that. You're rewarded more for putting other black people down. You're rewarded more for that. Okay, it's simply because that helps to fuel the labels that have been put on you, or that helps to justify or add credence to the lies that have been told about you. And it continues to perpetuate in their mind a justification for this inhumane treatment. But America would be a third world country without the contributions and genius of our ancestors. As of 2023, between 24.7 and $28 trillion have been made from these industries over just over the past 75 years, and including the worldwide. I mean, so that's the number one reason is that they want to destroy black excellence. Because when you take hope away from children, and they can, like I said before, and I continue to say, and one of the reasons why, they're still trying to block the children's book is because of this brother here, Benjamin Banneker. And I'm going to keep him there. I don't care how long or what it takes. But one of the things that we have to recognize is that our children have to have what you call heroes. They have to, and sheroes to look up to. How many of our young women lives would be different if they knew who Mae Jemison was? A black female engineer and astronaut. How many? Instead of wanting to be on videos twerking, how many of them would? Think about that. How many of our young men, if they knew about Benjamin Banneker, okay, would want to, because see, what the Luciferians are doing, they have their own young people that they have trained, the ones that have taken over the government. they're using what? I heard one as young as 19. What you think they're doing? But the point being is, and the last point before we move on to the next point, is that it's up to us to teach our children. And that's why I was saying earlier, what Dr. Amos Wilson was saying, we cannot use the same psychology or even the books that they're using to teach our children. That's fine. When they go to school, they can learn that. But like all other cultures, when they're at home, they're learning about their cultures. That's all they're learning about. That's all they actually live it, experience it. So these are things that we have to now start focusing on, because there's gloves off. It's an onslaught directed directly at our people. And, we have withstood all of the weapons that they have formulated against us. But next, we're going to move into the educational part that we have to look at too as well, because every time I see, it's funny, this morning I saw 3 young Chinese girls, I don't know, maybe looked like they were in middle school or whatever, standing there getting ready to go to school. And, they're talking to each other, but they're also for 10 minutes doing this and then talk. So this is a reality, okay, unlike us, that they communicate through devices, and devices can be manipulated. Okay, I found out so much about this. It's mind-numbing. Okay, so, and I want to give some examples of what this type of education is, because it's going to severely, or has severely affected our children. But we also have to look at ways in which this is being done. So the first thing we're going to look at is this new facial recognition, or prejudice in technology. Now you might think this is something very important. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. I did a little research on this. In one study, a Black woman had to put on a white mask because AI did not recognize her. Okay. You get the picture here? So the same type of education that they have in the history books is being transferred now into this AI energy. Okay. But I will say, in fairness to Google, it is connected to, the information that includes our people. We just have to know where to go to get it. But at the same time, much of the functions that our children use with these devices come from this. Okay, so imagine that. So the technology that she was trying to use, an advanced technological tool, didn't even recognize her. And see, this is how they're going to block us in the future with this facial recognition, because it's here in the city. And see, it's another form of data mining that we know they're going to use against our people. But yeah, she had to put on a mask. I was like, wow, okay. So in the future, you may be denied something just because you wasn't aware that the algorithm or what have you, bots didn't recognize your face. Then you have the Twitter's crop technology, which I found out it only focuses on white faces. And the algorithms did not recognize Black faces. You see? So based on how they actually, and we see this from YouTube, how they shadow ban Lance's channel, is that they use certain things like likes and views and stuff like that to determine, you know, the algorithm determines how often, you know, you get, you know, put out there or what have you. But that has a lot to do with the fact that this new crop technology, it only focuses on white faces. So, you know, it's just like the old days of the magazines, all the magazines other than Essence and Jet. You didn't see any black people in them. So, and you know, those days were a lot better for us, man. We had a lot of pride in terms of our, you know, our culture and respect. You know, a lot of times when people tell you things are old, that doesn't necessarily mean bad. They got us all screwed up. Because we can learn from, I still learn from my ancestors. Okay, so we've got to, you know, become trailblazers now and build new roads, because we cannot keep driving on the same roads. And you get to a toll booth, they might say, well, it don't matter if you can pay the toll, you can't come through. This is as far as you can go. See, what you guys don't realize in you need to study apartheid. That's here. Okay, we need to wake up, because we do a lot of crisis management. Okay, it's here already. It's in our face. So study the apartheid government. They can actually stifle your movement. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. So you better start fighting back. Yeah. Hello? Hey, can you hold on for a second?
Yeah, sure. Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Let me see what this is. Yeah. Hold on.
Yes, indeed. I'll be here until he comes back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
No problem, brother.
I guess cleans up or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, man. So this new AI education is something that we also have to pay attention when we were talking about earlier about the different tools. So we have people with those tools, with those abilities. And see, this is what we have not been able to do for the reasons that we're talking about in the beginning of the show. We have to recognize each other's gifts and abilities and then come together and use that, because we got some smart young. Look, anytime you see any manifestation of something here, trust and believe, it's been done before in Black culture somewhere, okay? But what happens is many times they bury the source of it, just like the young African brother now with the electric cars, you know what I mean? That's, yeah. So it's game on now, and that's what they're going to be using. Another study. Well, this is very important right here. Another study identified women of color as homemakers and white women as business owners. Black men were described as criminals or janitors. Now think about the implications of that, Lance. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is one of the reasons why they are dealing with, these Luciferians are trying to introduce this spirit about DEI and relate it to us, when really DEI never really benefited Black folks at all. But this is how powerful this energy is. It can label something and have everybody thinking that it applies to us. like you had mentioned once about the corporate welfare, the white farmers. You know, so we really have to pay attention to this area where, again, you know, as soon as the black lady, you know, went online, this particular software identified her as a homemaker and the white woman as a business owner. Black men were described as criminals or janitors. And then one last study I looked at, or a couple more, that predatory credit lending was based solely on black sounding names like Laquita or Jamal. And this was fascinating when I ran across this, but these are things that they're doing behind our back that our people are not aware of. And that, you know, the more that we talk about it as a family, like a lot of the issues you cover, the social issues we're dealing with, they don't like this because they want to keep us in a dumbed down state. So anytime their real history is exposed and what they're continuing to do, oh, they get angry. They get real angry, and then they get our own people to come after us. You know, they don't have to do anything anymore. They'll pay them a certain amount of money or fiat and then use them for that. The other interesting thing that I tracked was the medical algorithms. Since the 1970s, they began to use negative social stereotypes to diagnose black patients. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again because this is very important in terms of because Big Pharma has a lot to do. I believe that they finance this. But medical algorithms since the 1970s, see, they make our people think this is something that's, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s. No, they've been collecting this data for a long time. And they begin to use negative social stereotypes to diagnose black patients. And although kidney failure is more prevalent in black people, they are routinely placed at the bottom of the donor recipient list, even when whites have less issues. See, this is the kind of stuff they do. Last study here. Oh yeah, okay. The NFL in 2019 did a study on bias in the medical industry. And when determining eligibility for insurance settlements due to brain injury, the algorithms gave black players a lower level of cognitive functioning. And this one bot caused the disqualification of black players. Now, I'm gonna read that again because this is very deep. We know a lot of our brothers, after they have, you know, sacrificed their bodies and minds and, you know, their lives to these sports, making billions and billions of dollars for these owners. A lot of them end up in a bad way. I was looking at, made me think about you, Lance, but I know you never use none of these, what do they call it, the steroids, the human growth steroids or whatever. But this guy, Ronnie Coleman.
Oh my God.
Well, he's had what, how many spine surgeries? Like 30?
This guy, I mean, he wrecked himself. And I don't want to, I don't mind talking about it. I never took steroids before, but what I'm saying is that I'd say 99% of the competitors that you see on all levels in bodybuilding, they're on steroids. in this day and age. It's a recreational indulgence for teenagers.
The HGH, that human growth hormone.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Human growth hormone. It's not a steroid, but you have synthetic and you have the actual.
Yeah.
And the actual is taken from the pituitary gland of dead people. And that's the hormone that tells you, okay, if your body has a blueprint, right? A blueprint where you're going to be 5'7", 5'9", whatever.
Right.
It has a blueprint.
Genetic blueprint. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of pushes you beyond your blueprint. Right.
Right.
So, right. If you're supposed to be 6'1", 160 pounds, now you can eat on a little fat and put on, but if your bone structure, your height, your whatever, you take this thing, it's going to push you beyond the blueprint and you're going to actually grow. This is not a temporary thing like a steroid where you take the anabolic steroids and you see these bodybuilders when they're 50 and 60 years old and they're all mashed up, the muscles are gone because it was with the artificial testosterone, which occurs naturally in the body. You take so much more, you can train more, harder, recuperate faster. You're Superman in the bed for a little while. And like a Ronnie Coleman, like you said, how he got he was good before he even took steroids.
I heard.
And when he found out about it, because he tells a story, but he won't say steroid. He won't say the word. He went to Flex Wheel, another competitor, and they said, hey, man, this is what we're doing. And once he did that, because all of these guys are training hard, right? Mm-hmm. And you still have to have good genetics. Yeah. Because you have guys that don't have good genetics. They will take these drugs and see a little difference. But you can have good genetics and not train hard, not have the mind to train, the discipline to train, the discipline to the dinner table. Because that's the thing you do 24 hours. See, you play basketball or football, you're done when you're home. You train and everything, but bodybuilding, you get ready for competition. Every morsel of what you eat, these drugs that they're using, the training techniques, and they end up messing themselves up. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. You know, that was one of the theories I heard about how, so, you know, they get the faster yield with the animals now. They shoot them up with that. I think it's HGH or some derivative of it. They get a quicker yield. The chickens that it's supposed to take, I'm just saying, 8 weeks to grow, now they're growing in 1 week.
Right, right.
So you messing with nature and
for profit.
Huh?
For profit.
Yeah, for profit.
And then now they don't even have to say now with certain, I don't know the specifics of when they say GMO and if it's steroids or laws, but there is a around that. You eat this stuff and it's not compatible with your body, especially the GMO foods. And they won't always say that. They'll say modified starch or anything modified is GMO.
Yeah.
And it's like this. If you have a lock and a key and it works, when they modify the key or modify the food, it may fit in that lock, but it might not open it. It's not compatible, meaning that you're not going to absorb all the nutrition from this GMO food. If you can call it nutrition. Natural food is designed to nourish you. It may look like a mango, it may taste like a mango, but you're not going to extract the proper nutrition because it's not the right key from it. It's for the profit of the people selling it. And say, well, not only profit, but if you maximize it, the bugs are not going to mess with it. I don't know if you saw the thing on Facebook where they had 2 pieces of corn sitting up way out in nature somewhere. One was GMO, and it was a natural ear of corn, and they had propped it up somehow and left it fresh. Wow. The GMO wasn't even eaten down. Like they took a bite, like, we don't want that. And the natural corn was eaten all the way down. And I did that experiment myself in Orlando. I bought a watermelon. The guy told me, it has seeds. I got there, had no seeds. It was GMO. So I cut it in half and put it in my backyard in the garden. Nothing ate it. After about a day and a half, it began to turn to mush. like foam, like
Yeah.
when ice cream starts to melt, and I'm like, what does it turn it into? And
Yeah.
the ants, nothing bothered it. So what is it doing in your body?
Wow.
See, well, I can go on forever with that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that with the steroids, the STH, the insulin, you know they're using insulin now, the bodybuilders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what that does? You can eat more food. You can stuff more food. 8, 9, 10,000 calories a day. And you take the insulin to offset all of that food. But the thing with insulin is so dangerous, you can kill yourself. If you get too much in your system and not balance it out with all that food, you'll digest the food and you'll fall out.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
You fall out, you'll die. This is what these guys are doing. Yep. It's bodybuilding is a sick sport. And because I loved it. It was either boxing, it was bodybuilding. And I don't say I regret it, but it's a sick people. I'm not saying all, but they try to cover their hang-ups, their insecurities with this thing. And then you get on these drugs, you feel so good, you feel manly, you feel like you're on top of the world, but it's masking something else, a deficiency in your personality and your mentality. I know that for a fact. Not everyone, but most of them. And now we're getting the teenagers. We're not talking about 19, 18, which is bad enough. Because when I competed with guys from 17 years old, 18. They were on the stuff. And that's back 1980, 81, 82. It's worse now because you have the internet and people are sharing what they do, these young guys. And now you have the ultimate in adolescent, it's like an adolescent insecurity platform where you can go at your insecurities and now I'm gonna pump up and I'm gonna show this muscle but you still have the insecurity. And one last thing, most bodybuilders don't see themselves as they are. You see them walking up the street all huge, and you say, oh my God, he must be confident. He must be, no, they see that person that they were when they started out. You see what I mean? They'll see the muscle, but deep down, say, oh, I gotta put on 10 more pounds. I gotta get bigger this way. Oh, the same insecurities drive them. I know that for a fact. And nobody can tell me no different, male or female. So when you see these guys, if you want to FUCK with them, hey man, you've been training, right? Well, how come your arms looked a little bigger 2 weeks ago when I saw you? It's a little bigger. Seriously, you look good, but are your arms shrinking? They may brush you off. Check them in 5 minutes. They'll be in the mirror flexing and looking to see. Yeah, easy to psych out.
I believe it. I can see that. Yeah, you got people that do that. You know, somebody comment on something about them, and now they're all absorbed with that. Like, wow.
It's sick. It's sick. I'll tell you straight up, it's sick.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, that was when I saw that about this bias in the NFL in the medical industry.
Right.
So when the insurance companies were determining eligibility for settlements due to a brain injury, the algorithms gave Black players a lower level of cognitive function. This one bot caused the disqualification of Black players. This is really sick. Yeah, let's see. A few other studies here. Self-driving cars recognize Black people less than white people. So,
Self-driving cars, yeah.
Yeah. With that facial recognition thing, they already built in the prejudices and the racism in it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, someone sent to me the other day. I think it was yesterday or the day before. They sent to me they were driving and one of those cars were parallel with them and eventually went on. And they gave me some footage to look at. I still have it on my phone. And we were talking about that. And there's something eerie about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can't tell me that they're not going to locate who they feel may be an offender or somebody who broke the law. You go on and call an Uber or some service that's like Uber, and they're slowly rolling in these self-driving cars, right? They're slowly rolling it in. But you may be wanted for child support. Maybe you smacked up somebody in a different state and have a charge, and now you think you're taking an Uber to go to where you're going. They're like, wait a second, well, I'm going this way. You know, you can't ask a person because there's nobody in there. Right. Hey, where you taking me?
The doors are locked. You can't open
and you can't smash the glass. And they're taking you right to the precinct. Watch.
I believe something like that is going to happen.
No, I'm telling you from now. I can see it.
Yeah.
You roll up in there and think everything's all right and you're a fugitive for some reason. And depending on how severe it is, right? They're going to take you right to the precinct or whatever. And when you roll up in that vehicle, guns will be drawn. And look, if you want to try to act like you may have a gun and want to shoot somebody, they can shoot the vehicle up because there's no other driver in there.
Wow.
And they're going to be scanning. We got these biometrics, right?
Yeah.
Where they have our fingerprints. Maybe in the hospital, if we go, maybe they might steal some blood or DNA or whatever.
Terminator movies. You see that on the Terminator movies.
But that's what Sophia Stewart was talking about.
Uh-huh.
When I interviewed her, she was saying this ahead of time. She was also saying some other things.
Yeah.
That are playing out right now, right? But
that's
they're gonna pick you up.
That's the lady that originated the Matrix, right?
Yeah, Sophia Stewart.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna try to bring her back on. Yeah,
okay,
but I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna be up and down the hoods, and people are not gonna pay it no mind. And I say hood, I'm not saying, but black hood especially, those cars be going up and down. Nobody's gonna pay it no mind because if dudes are on the corner hustling, selling drugs or doing whatever, if girls are out there picking up tricks, those cars go by. Ain't nobody in that car. But you don't know if they're scanning for you or not. You don't know who's looking at you. And they know the position of it, and you should be giving back. Yep.
They're gonna do a lot of racial profiling with it.
And people are gonna pay it no mind. Ain't nobody in that car. You got a whole office looking at you, and you don't even realize it.
Wow, that is profound, Lance.
And with your biometrics, you might do something, and they'll show up at your door later on. They'll show up at your door later on.
Yep, I can see that.
Scanning the whole neighborhood.
We got you on camera. But what camera? Where? That car
Digital cameras will be everywhere, and those cars will alert certain things, and they will know you through your biometrics and show up at your door later on. They don't have to come get you right there. You might be raping somebody in the alleyway. They're gonna come get you later on, and they have you. It's not even a matter of let's prove it. They got you. You going.
You know those police lamps they have in the big cities up on the lamppost? I guarantee you those cars are going to start communicating with them because they got cameras in them.
Of course.
That's how they caught, what's his name, when they, those police officers in Memphis killed Tyrese Nichols. It was that, remember, that police surveillance camera up on this post that caught them. Didn't have any audio.
And with technology being so efficient now, the cameras don't have to be big.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
It'll be on the head of a pin.
That's right.
Yeah, man. It's wow. It's getting to a point where the other thing too about this is these people who we know that hate us are programming these things. These East Indians people, the Arabs.
Yep.
You know, they're the ones that's the engineers.
Yeah. Yeah.
While they got our kids focused on rap music and who's going to be in the next video. It's crazy, man, because these people are training their young people for the future.
Yep.
You know.
And black folks, like I said, even the smart ones that don't have the discipline or don't want to see what's really happening. The world has changed so fast, and really and truly, things they predict go, even through entertainment, and the people didn't pay it no mind. I follow a lot of geek type websites and platforms that they're talking about what's happening now. Not some weird fantasy projection on what could happen. They're speaking about what's happening now, and their projections are off the chain. And the projections are not for 25 years from now. Everything is moving so fast. It's usually a year and a half from now they should be doing this. Who would have thought when we were in Queens, younger, that there'd be driverless cars, straight up driving good.
Oh, yeah.
Picking people up. Who would have thought that? That's some more George Jetson type stuff.
And you know, your phone, like, so in San Francisco with the Waymo, you can, the driverless cars, you can order one on your phone. So they're linked to you.
And that's the one I saw, the Waymo, yeah. But it has this thing on the top.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
It looks eerie to me. Yo, I'm not getting in that thing.
Me either.
They might put up some charges on me and take me somewhere. Oh, that's Scurv? Talking about that mess. He's back in America? Oh, bring him here now.
Exactly. And what if it can be hacked? Anything can be hacked.
Yeah. Yeah. And snuff
you. Weaponize it against you, they can hack it.
They don't have to send somebody to snuff you no more. You can get one of them vehicles and they can gas it. Who knows? Ain't nobody else in there.
Mm-hmm.
They want to assassinate you, and then the car drives you somewhere to get the body and they dispose of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something sinister with some new technology that's going on.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's I was looking at some technology that they had where, you know, the new where you don't even need the physical computer. You know, they do it in the air.
In the airport, you see them doing that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You look for your flight and you're sitting here going like this and looking crazy.
Yep.
Like you casting spells.
Casting spells on foot. It's no telling what they're doing, man, with that, you know. But the fact of the matter is that this is a new form of education that we have to be focused on because it has changed our lives. We don't know what direction. So with Black folks, there is no think tank for technology where our people who are part of the toolbox you're talking about are actually educating us on this. At least I haven't ran across any.
Well, we're so busy FBA or ACE or Genesis or this or that, secret handshakes and light and dark and who got money and who don't. We're doomed. We're not even, our minds overall. And if we hear this stuff, there's something else that comes up that we're more interested in that's here today and gone tomorrow. Some celebrity foolishness or just some kind of beef going on that's engineered.
Yeah.
We gravitate toward that mental junk food.
Some type of emotional tirade where and they'll take the same subject and for months they're talking about the same subject when these folks are doing, like you said, they're not planning for the future, they're doing it now. So every day, and they work around the clock. So they might have different shifts. While you sleep, they got people working against you because there are a couple other studies on land. Huh?
No, it's just acknowledging Miss Tiva Station coming on in. Yeah, but go ahead, brother.
So one other study I ran across in 2018 that Twitter flags tweets based on the unique ways that Black people communicate phonetically, or if they want to call it ebonics, but we all have a different vernacular, each culture.
Right.
And that's amazing, huh?
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. In fact, it would surprise me more if they didn't do this. Really?
Right. You're right.
Facebook and YouTube algorithms shadow ban Black content creators like you.
Don't you know I know it?
Oh yeah, I know you know it. But
I'm not even
somebody
gonna get
talking
on that
about
one.
grass, somebody talking about grass, you know, they let them do, you know, this nonsense as long as they're not affecting nobody, particularly our people.
Right.
And finally about this, they are developing algorithms that will identify people of color in all areas of human activities, and no one is exempt. Black professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, whatever you're doing, I believe that's what. So the Nazi who has control over the United States Treasury now, that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly
Hence the salute.
Huh?
The Nazi salute. When he gave, remember?
Huh?
He gave that Nazi salute.
Oh yeah.
Remember he gave that Nazi salute?
Oh,
he tried to make it say something from his heart. He ended up in it. He didn't come up with it straight. He ended up, you know, he did something with his heart and came up in it. But still, he did it.
He meant that.
Yeah.
And the ones who that's meant for, they all are on code with that. They know what he means.
Right.
So
wow.
Yeah, so
amazing.
It's one of these things where I'm going to make a final statement about our subject today, is that we're educated to be servants. And I remember Dr. Amos Wilson talking about this, that the fundamental relationship between blacks and whites have never changed. They're still the ones that we look to provide everything for us while we're spending money on all kind of crazy stuff. We still, if we need something and there's some kind of emergency, we still have to go to them to get it. We have not established any bonds. This is another reason why they don't want us communicating with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Instead of exporting stuff from them or importing stuff from them and exporting stuff to them, we get ours from the trade that the U.S. corporations, the same ones that are suppressing us, from these different, from South Africa, China, and all these different places. But we're educated to be servants. And our biggest challenge moving forward is we must prepare the youth to lead. And that we measure the growth and development, our growth and development, by our relationship to our reality, not the denial of it. And see, again, this was a statement I made earlier, is it's more convenient for Black people just to deny what's in their face. But that does not contribute to real growth and development. All you're doing is kicking the can down the road that's eventually going to cause you to have a flat tire when you run over it. Or, you know what I mean? Or it doesn't make sense for us to continue to look at the Luciferian energy and then deny that it's there. The schools are instruments of your oppression. Because what is intelligence in relationship to educating your young? It is to maintain your survival economically, socially, and physically. I'm going to read that again. What is intelligence in relationship to educating your young? Anybody talking about how many tests you can pass and then how many quizzes you got an A on. We're talking about your ability to maintain the survival of your people economically, socially, and physically. That should be the thrust of education. And finally, intelligence means to solve your own problems, not someone else's problems, which we are educated to do from the time we start school. And the future education of our children has to be for solving the problems of Black people like all other cultures do. So yeah, brother, I mean, it's you know, the gloves are off. The one regret that, you know, I have, and I know a lot of us have, is that now we're in this position, and now all we can do is sit back and try to deflect as much of this shit as we can. Because we're not in a, and see, this is the difference between real power, and they have our people hooked on titles. Oh, I'm work for so-and-so, or I'm this, I'm that, really? Or what happens when they pull that title away, like they're doing now with all the Black government workers? What happens when they take away this title that you have? And what kind of, you're going to see that you have no power to change this. And, you know, again, unfortunately, we're in this position now that, you know, our failure to launch over all these decades and follow the example of our ancestors. You know, we're going to pay a heavy price for this, brother. I hate to say it. Because all other cultures, you can see them. They're banding together. They know something big is coming. But our people are still fighting against each other off of nonsense based on emotions. It's just... So with that, brother, I'll end the show today. And we, you know, we just have to keep continuing to fire, you know, the weapons we have. That's about all we can do. Because clearly our people are stuck on something else. That it's going to be a rude awakening when these folks stop distributing food to the zip codes where we live. When they start really doing the real devilish Luciferian stuff. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. They got your zip code. That's why they got these young Nazi engineers working for Elon Musk. They are categorizing all of this. And if you live in a certain zip code, guess what? Even your electricity, your water, all of that is subject to be affected now. They can say, well, we're going to cut off the electricity in this zip code if they don't do this, or if they don't do that. Or we're going to cut off the water supply, or worse yet, we're not going to filtrate and clean it. We're just going to send you the shit water. You know, all these things that these evil people have, they have access to this, man. And we just seem to keep going along like, okay, yeah. Like you say, you go in a restaurant and they spit in your food, you don't know it. Why you in there in the first place? You shouldn't even be in there in the first place.
That's right. And when it's the food so good, and they're laughing at you.
Yeah, they laughing.
But look how they do in China. If you say something against the government on social media, they can control your money.
Yeah, they can.
What do you work for? What do you do? You ain't getting all of it. Or control where you spend.
Right.
How you spend. Total control is what they want, and we're giving it to them.
Yeah.
Giving them everything, making it easy for them.
Oh yeah, making it really easy. Because they're moving in that direction now. The same thing. China. The difference between China is more, when it comes to their people, they're more like wolves. Here we're dealing with foxes. Well, now we're dealing with wolves. We dealt with foxes for 60 years. Yeah. Left our people in this condition. But now the real wolves, you know, they coming. Mm-hmm. They come in, they got blood on they like these vampires. They not, all they seen is blood.
That's right. They're very excited when they see that. Even when we draw from each other, they're gonna come and get the final bite. They love it. Just blood everywhere. Damn
like,
it.
You
No
know,
blood.
hyenas be fighting. Yeah, you see the different animals, the vultures, the hyenas, the lions trying to steal
Coming for the meal.
Huh? The same meal. And I saw this alligator, these hyenas attacked this alligator. Huh?
No, I said they're coming like it's a cookout. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, they are. And it's like, boy, they salivating. But we'll see. We'll sit back and get the popcorn and see how this plays out. And
yep.
right now, maybe I need to build me a wall in a mountain or somewhere, because boy, these people, these vampires.
We always welcome, brother.
Huh?
I got space on top of space on top of space on top of space.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's peaceful. It's quiet. You know.
Yeah, that's
keep
a good thing, man.
Make it better. That's right. One day you're going to be sitting right here next to me doing a show. We're going to be right next to each other doing a show. Yeah. You can tell them how it is over here. For sure. That's right. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you, brother. And keep up the great work. You and Lily Fire. And I look forward to the next one. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. All right. All right, brother Lance. Okay. Peace. Peace. I'm going to be coming back on. I'm going to prepare for another show before I go to sleep. And I sit everywhere. Trust me. So I'm going to get ready for that. Freshen up a little bit. I've been working in the sun all day today. Inside also too, doing some heavy stone work and all kind of stuff. And I'm learning a lot, and things are coming out to be really fabulous. And I thank you all so much for your support and just your presence being here. But let me set this next show up so I can get it in there. We're going to talk about a few things. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be, thought-provoking as always. We just got to keep the work coming in regardless. Like I said, I'm a creative assassin. No matter what's going on the left, what's going on the right, we zero in. Been doing this too long. 24 plus years in the game. 24 years. 24 years. I'm before YouTube, before Facebook, before these frauds that came out here. Been doing it. We're going to keep on doing it because it's my passion. It's my mission. Anyway, much love to you all. Take care. Hours. We'll see.